Hello, fellow creative. Thanks so much for joining me today. I am going to be talking about my mark making tools, and I've got a variety of them out on my desktop right now. I'm going to kind of clear some of these out, and then I will slowly introduce each one and talk a little bit about how I like to use it and how it can be used. So let's start with clearing a little bit of space. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Betty with Betty Frank's Art, and I've got a number of different videos for you to check out, all about creating abstract art that is inspired by my love for fields of flowers. So if you've got some time, check out those. Okay, so let's clear out a few more here. I'm just going to move them aside. And let me grab some paper so that we can do this directly on paper. Okay, so here we go. And I'm using Bristol paper. Absolutely love Bristol paper because it is so smooth. And I love creating art on it. But for today, I'm going to use it so that I can make marks on it so that you can see what that looks like. All right, glasses on. Let's start. Let's start with the way I love to start, which is just with a regular number 2 pencil. Nothing fancy, but I love my number 2 pencil. And so I'm just going to make some marks like this because I'm going to be putting water over my marks so that you can see which ones are water soluble and which ones are not. So the pencil, if you are putting varnish, for example, I like to sign in pencil, and I also like to do mark making in pencil, and it will smudge. So it's really important that I know which ones are going to smudge and which ones are not. So pencil will smudge. So we're going to start off with pencil, and then let's go to another type of pencil, which is Prismacolor pencils. And here's just a few of them. I've got more in my stash over here that I was kind of flipping through, but we don't need that many for me to do a demonstration. So I'm going to grab my favorite color, which is this blue vert pale, and it's PC 992. I've got a link down below to all of my favorite art supplies, so you can check that out, or just leave me a comment. If you can't find that, happy to send you the link directly. All right, so let's put down some of these marks. I'm going to do them a little bit thicker. All right, so there's one. I'll just do a few of these. And I love these because they are, again, they are Prismacolor pencils. The colors are simply amazing. Absolutely love them. When I was getting started, however, I didn't use Prismacolor pencils. I used what I could afford, which was actually my daughter's crayons, crayons and also her pencils. The inexpensive ones that were just laying around because, you know, she was much older at this point and wasn't using them. But of course, we saved them over the years. So I started off by using those. And I did that because I wanted to really, I guess, one, know that it's really something I want to do on a regular basis. I didn't want to spend the money on all of those pencils only to come to find out that maybe that's just something I don't like to do. So if you're unsure, you're sitting on the fence, not sure if you want to introduce mark making into your own artwork, then I would suggest getting the inexpensive stuff and checking those out and see if you like using those. All right, here's one more. This is just kind of a pale pinkish peachy color. All right, so we've got a few colors there. So I'll set those aside. Now, these are not water soluble, which means when I put water over this, it shouldn't move around. So we'll see. All right, next up, let's go with the Woodys. I love these. They come in a pack, and I got the sharpener with it. Now, I know some folks have purchased this and didn't get the sharpener. So look for the pack that includes a sharpener because it's a unique shape. And it's hard to find a sharpener just in the store. All right, so let's put down these. Now, these are water soluble, which means, again, if I put water on them, they will move around. Here's a black one. Here's some pink. I'm not going to do the white because you're certainly not going to be able to see that. Okay, and red. All right, so we've got a variety of colors going on there. Let's move on to next. Oh, here were a few more of the Prismacolor pencils. And I did buy the big pack of Prismacolor pencils, like the mega pack, which was quite the investment. And I did that for two reasons. One, I really didn't know which colors I wanted. And two, I had two studios going on. So I took half of them and put them in one studio and half of them and put them in another studio. So there are some that are absolutely my favorites. And I kind of wish that I had just gone and picked all of my favorite colors, because there's a number of them that I don't use that just don't go with my artwork, the colors that I like to use. So that's something to consider. If you decide you don't want to buy the pack, just pick out colors that you're drawn to and start from there. All right, next up we've got, and here's another one, a green one. Okay, next up I've got, these are Derwent watercolor pencils. And I think I've got the box for these. Here they are. So here's what the box looks like that they come in. And these are great too. Again, watercolor. So we know that it is going to shift around when we put down some water on them. So let's put down some of these marks to see what that looks like. Oh, that's similar in color. Let's do another one. And one more. And I'm going to come back in and just do that a little bit wider. Okay, so, and I feel like I should be writing down what these are. So watercolor pencils. And this was Woodys. And this was Prismacolor pencils. And this was, of course, just a pencil. Okay, so that'll help us as we go through this. Okay, next up, I've got, what do I have here? Oh, Inktense. So these are fantastic. Where's my box? I know I had a box here somewhere. Here they are. Okay, so here's the box of Inktense pencils. These colors are simply amazing, especially when you put some water over them. So they are water soluble, which again, I know I'm repeating myself, so I apologize, but means that it's going to move around when I put water on it. And some folks ask me, why do I do that? Why do I use pencils that are water soluble when I know they're going to move around? For me, I absolutely love it when I am surprised by what a mark will do when I add something wet over it. So it's just part of the experimenting and having fun process for me. All right, so here's a few colors, and I'll write down, these were the Inktense. Okay, and all right, so let's, oh, and in there, okay, so I have a charcoal. This is Charcoal Hard 2B. So let me put down this one, and I'm going to write down immediately. Charcoal 2B. There's hard, there's soft. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really know the big difference between all of them. I'm sure that there is, especially if you are an artist that creates with charcoal. You probably know the difference quite well. But for me, it's all about, again, making marks. So this will smudge when we put water over it. All right, so coming kind of along those lines, these are Lyra crayons, and one is water soluble and the other one is not. So, and I believe this is the water soluble one. So I'm going to put this, maybe not. Okay, well, I don't know. We're going to be surprised. So there's one Lyra. I'm just going to write Lyra, because I don't know which one is which at this point. What happens is it fades away. There is paper here, and because I got these wet, it just smudged. So let's see which is which. Here's the other Lyra. So we'll see which one does what. Okay, set those aside. And oh, these are so much fun. Okay, these are the Neocolor 2, again, water soluble. However, I also have Neocolor 1. Let's see if I can find those. Here they are. So let's grab a few Neocolor 1s and Neocolor 2. But I want to make sure now, and I can't read the label on that one. Nope, this is a 2. Let's see if I can find another one, maybe down in here. Okay, there's a 1. So let's start with the ones over here. So this is a 1, and I think this was a 2. I'm going to put this over here, Neocolor 2. This is a Neocolor 2. Let's put that one over here. This is a Neocolor 2. I can't read it, so I'm not going to use it. This is a 1, so let's put 1 over here. See, these labels fall off after a while, and I can't read them. This is a 2. Let's put that one over here. And let's see if I can find one more 1. Okay, here's another 1. All right, so let's mark these. Neocolor 1 and Neocolor 2. All right, so these I love, and I probably use them on almost every single one of my paintings, whether it's the beginning part of the painting or at the end or somewhere in the middle. I love using these. So we'll set those aside. I've got a basket of them here, or a little tub of them, I should say. Move that out of the way. Oh, and I had a few here that I couldn't read. Let me put those back over here. All right, next up, I've got, okay, let's go with these. And I still need to do these. Okay, so these I recently received, and I talked about them. I think I did a little video on them. These are by Craft Dat. They're acrylic paint pens. I used to use paint pens during my mixed media days, and I used to use, oh wow, it just escaped me. There's a few of them out there. Montana markers was one of them, but there's another one. I can't think of it right now, but these are fantastic, and I kind of wish that I had been using them sooner, but better now than never, right? So these you can shake up, and there is paint inside of them, and there's actually like a little ball inside to get the paint to move around. And so I'm going to put some of this down, and it is acrylic paint. So let's just put down, and you just press down to get it moving, and then you can put down as much as you want. Now, this is more of a fine point. I remember the Montana markers were much thicker. At least the ones that I had were much thicker. Let's do another one. I'm not sure if I've used this one before because it's not even moving around. No, see how that's totally white? So you just press down on the nib like that to get the paint flowing. And there we go. Paint is flowing. Now we can use it. And this you can definitely use. All of these you can use over underpaint, over paint, acrylic paint. I should spell out that it's acrylic paint that I use. So I have used them both over and under and in between layers. Okay, now I've got a couple more. No, I've got one more, I think. No, I've got a few more. So, okay, I don't recall the name of these. It's something stick, and the word stick is spelled kind of funny. I'm going to put on the screen right here for you so that you can see what it is. And I got these on Amazon. These are kind of like a Marks All type of crayon that folks use like in construction to write on plastic or metal or wood or anything. And I really love them when I'm working on my large canvases. I don't use them so much for my small works, but I use them for my large works. And they're just a thicker crayon. So you can see, you know, this way. Okay, you can see the point on my Stabio Woody is a lot smaller, and this it just creates a larger mark, and that's what I like about it. So let me put down a few of these for you. And this kind of feels waxy, and you can see the way it went on. Look at that. It's got a waxy feel to it. Let's just put down a few colors. And so it does create a little bit of resistance when I put something wet over it or when I put paint over it. So we'll just put down a couple of those colors. Okay, so again, I'll include the picture here, but these I've loved using ever since I discovered them, and that was years ago. Okay, a couple of more that I want to go over real quick, but I want to also, well, let me do that first. Okay, so here I've got soft pastels, and I don't use these all that often, but when I do, man, the pop of color is unbelievable. I think I tend to use these more when I do my florals that are not quite so abstracted, so florals in a vase or something like that. And I like to add just a punch of color. So let's put down some of these. And let me show you how bright these colors are. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go back. I forgot to write down what I did over here. So these were the paint pens. Paint pens. And these were the I don't know what it's called. Okay. And then here we've got, what did I do with the lid? Oh, I put it underneath. Okay. So the soft pastels. So if I put that down and I blow on it, it removes some of that chalk that's building up, and then I can smudge it a bit as well. Another color. Okay, this pink I absolutely love. Look at that brightness. Love, love, love. And this blue, you could tell the ones that I use more often than the others. Isn't that just gorgeous? If you're looking for some pops of color, this is going to do that for you. Just absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to write here, these are the soft pastels. Okay. And okay, last but not least, let me blow on this. Okay, I've got this. I haven't even opened it yet, so I thought I'd open it with you guys here. Someone told me about this in my comments in one of my videos, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna order it. I'm gonna give it a try, which I haven't got around to trying yet. So I'm glad that I'm doing this video so I can open it up. It's called Art Crayon by Marabu, and it is a watercolor crayon. Let's see, it says lovely red. So I got this collection. These are reds or warm colors. So I've got orange, pepperoni chili, pomegranate, and pink rose. All right, so let's open that up. And we'll just kind of, let me set this aside. Put that right there. Let's see, the easiest way. You know, I'm like, I feel like everything is always child-proofed and I can't get into anything. And where are my scissors when I need them? There they are. There we go. Opened up. And let's check these out. All right, they look pretty cool. Wrapped in plastic. And take that off. Okay, let's see what we got. Looks like I can just twist it to, can't twist it back in. Well, that's odd. Okay, don't twist it right when you get it. Oh, there we go. Well, I pushed it back in. Let's see what, oh my goodness, this is like butter. It goes on like butter. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to be using that a bit more. Let's do another color. Let's do something a little brighter, darker. I don't know, more pinkish. Let's give this a try. All right, so that was, let me see how that moves around too. You know, it doesn't move around a lot. There is some movement. Oh, it's just creamy, creamy. I love that. Wow. Seriously, this didn't go on like butter, and you can see it here. If I show it up close, I got to look at my computer screen too. You can see it didn't quite go on very smooth, and parts of it is still stuck on there. But this, totally smooth. Love that. Okay. All right. Well, let's just do the lighter pink too while I'm at it. So these are a keeper for sure. I think I'm going to be incorporating, and I like that it's large, so I can work on it with my larger pieces. Wow, that just glides. It's like going across glass. It just really just moves so smoothly. Okay, all right, I'm loving those. Again, Art Crayon by Marabu. So cool. And okay, I already talked about the watercolors, and I think that's it. Oh, no, let's talk about these. All right, these are your China markers, or also known as a grease pencil, and I love them. They do create resistance, so they are not water soluble. However, even with the resistance, once I put a spray varnish on it or a fixative spray, and then I do my varnish, I rarely have any issues with them. Again, it will create a bit of resistance, but I'm really not worried about that. So, oh, what did we call this? Where to go? Art. I'm going to call it Art Crayon. All right, so last but not least, let's do the China markers or grease pencil. I have a white one. I'm not going to use that. And then I also have a blue and a red one somewhere, but I'll be honest with you, I don't like the blue and I don't like the red. I just don't like the colors of it. So I don't use it, but I know I've got it somewhere in my stash here. I tend to use these three the most. Okay, so we've got that down, and let's just write down China marker. Okay, and I know I've shown this before, and I'm going to show it to you guys today. It is challenging trying to get this to peel correctly, and I know this because I once used an X-Acto knife and I really cut up myself. So please don't use an X-Acto knife or any knife. Just pull down on it gently so that you are at one of the ridges there, and then peel away. And you don't want to peel away too much. I tried to just grab one of these. That's not working so great. See, even I'm challenged after doing this for many years. It doesn't always start perfectly, but once you get started, you're okay. All right, I don't want both of those. Let's see if I can get just one. I'm pulling down towards me. Don't pull upward because it's going to rip. But if you pull downward, let me flip this over. Maybe you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Let's see if I come up here. Okay, so pulling down towards me as I gently turn. So gently pulling down towards me and turning at the same time. Hopefully you can see that. Whoops, I almost lost it. So I got to get back to pulling down gently because I want to stay on that little perforated part. This one's not quite cooperating, but oh, there we go. All right. So that's all you need to do. You want to just be gentle with it. And again, tugging down very gently. And that will work for you every time. Okay, let's flip this back over. Now what I want to do is I've got a jug of water here. Let's bring that over here. And I'm going to grab a brush. I've got a lot of brushes here. Sometimes I feel like I have too many brushes. I guess I want kind of a medium-sized brush to brush water over these. Okay, how about this one? Okay, so let's dip water in, and let me just put a rag here. Okay, before I do that, hold on, before I do that, let's do one more thing. I'm trying to make sure my fingers are somewhat clean so that I'm not double dipping. So what I want to do is I want to show how some of these move around with just your finger. So here's my pencil, really not much movement at all. Prismacolor pencils, again, not much movement. Woodys, with the Woodys, you can get them to move around. And I love this about the Woodys because when I'm working towards the end of my painting and I want to smudge my edges a bit and not make them not such harsh edges, I like it when I can just come in with this Woody. And this has been on here for a little while. We did this early on, and I still have enough time to smudge it before it fully dries. So I love that about the Woodys. Let's go to the watercolor. Let's see if I can just wipe that off my finger. Okay, watercolor. If I smudge it, it does smudge a little bit, but not a whole lot, just a little bit there. Let's go to the ink tints now. Not really smudging at all. Let me show you guys that up close so far. So a lot of smudging, hardly anything, no smudging, barely. And this one, just barely any smudging. Let's go to the charcoal. Yes, well, we expected that with the charcoal, right? Now let's go to the Lyra 1 and 2, trying to figure out which is which. Okay, here's one. It's kind of, you can see that halo effect. And then let me clean this off. And then this one, also a halo effect, almost similar. I'm hoping that I didn't have two layers that are the same, but we're going to see. Okay, moving on to the Neocolor 1. Yep, I can definitely, it's kind of drying, so it's a little harder to move around. Move one a bit. All right, let's go to Neocolor 2. A little easier. Look how much more I can smudge that one with the same amount of pressure that I had on the other one. So definitely Neocolor 2 again is the water soluble one. Soluble. I always say that word wrong. So don't be surprised if I say it wrong a few times. I've had people correct me before. You just have a hard time with some words, and that's one of them. Let's go to the paint pens. These are totally dry. Nothing is moving around. This is the, again, I can picture what it looks like. It comes in a yellow wrap around the crayon, but I just can't remember the name of it. Okay, so this one does smudge around a bit. There we go. And I'm even removing kind of some of that extra. So definitely can be smudged and to soften out the lines if that's what you like. I tend to use that one more at the beginning and maybe a little bit in the middle, but I never use it at the very end. I don't know why, but I never have. Okay, going to soft pastels. I think I did a little bit of this. Definitely moves around, right? I'm using every finger now. Okay, so definitely a lot of movement there. Let me wipe my fingers. And let's go to the art crayon. This is the new one that I've never used before. And I already did this, didn't I, earlier? So this one does smear a little bit, not a lot. I mean, I'm putting a lot of pressure trying to get it to smear, and it's not really smearing at all. And then let's go to the China marker, which I didn't expect anything to. I'm pressing pretty hard, and I got a little bit of that black to move, but not a whole lot. Here's the yellow. Okay, so let me do a little close-up for you guys. All right, so going down the line, if you like smudges, your Woody is a good one to go with. Also charcoal, this we haven't quite decided yet. Neocolor 1 smudges a little bit, but the Neocolor 2 was much easier to smudge. Paint pens do not. This one, again, we don't know the name of it, but it does smudge, which was interesting because I've never smudged it because I put on the earlier layers. It's usually my last layer that I like to come in and do some smudging. All right, soft pastels, we expected those to move around. This art crayon, love it, and it does smudge a little bit. And then the China marker, not so much. I really had to push hard to get that to move. Okay, so with that done, let's now add the water and let's see what happens. So I've got water on my brush. There's the pencil. And it really isn't moving around much, which is interesting because when I have this pencil over acrylic paints, because I like to do my signature in a pencil, more times than not, my signature smudges. So it's interesting because it could be because I'm working on paper and the paper absorbs, and maybe it's made it more final, I guess, in a sense, as opposed to on acrylic paint, it's going to be floating on top and it's probably easier to smudge. So that'll be interesting. I should try that somewhere else. All right, Prismacolor, or I should show you guys, I've already tried it. There's Prismacolor pencils. As I mentioned, not much movement from them at all. Well, I should say there isn't any movement because I'm not seeing any of the color. Let's go to the Woody. There we go. So, and that black is really taking over there. Let me see if I can wipe off the brush. But you can see it definitely creates movement. There's the pink. I'm not going to go back over. All right, so if you love a lot of movement in your mark making at any stage, the Woody is a good one to go with. Let's go to the watercolors. Now we're expecting these to move a little bit. But again, I'm working on not watercolor paper. It's just Bristol paper, which is a very smooth paper. And it does move around, but I bet you it would move around a lot more if I was using a different type of paper. Let's go to the ink tints. I expect these to move around. Look at that, yum. I'm gonna have to clean off my brush each one so I don't mix those colors. And there's the blue. And if I keep going at it, I can almost get rid of that initial mark and really soften it out. And let's go with the red or pink. I guess it's more pink. Beautiful. The ink tints, just gorgeous colors. Let me move this over to this side so I'm not crossing my arm over everything. All right, charcoal next. And we expect this to move around a bit, but not really as much as I thought it would. It does move around just a little bit. All right, the 2 liras. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, that is the, let me see. I can tell you which one that is if I can find my sheet. I'm gonna have to look for that. Okay, this is the water soluble one. And I do have this one listed in my favorite art supplies. And this one, okay, well, I think I got 2 of them. So here we go. Let's go with this one. This is also Lyra Graphite, non-water soluble. I should have found this one earlier. Let's put that down. We'll mark that as, again, this is the, I'm going to write WS, water soluble, and then this one is the Lyra non-water soluble. All right, and then let's see what happens when I put water over that. There you go. You can see it just totally resists. It doesn't move it at all. But this one I love. I'm going to show you why I love that one so much. Let's grab another one of these. And I'm going to show you how yummy that color is, or what it can do. All right, so if I was to, let's move this aside. Oh, hopefully it's not going to drip everywhere. Okay, so if I was to take the water soluble one and just make marks like this, and then I can come in like this. And I love doing this in the beginning stages. Again, no one's going to see this, but for me, it's just part of the process. It's one of those things that I absolutely love. If you want to preserve those lines, then you can get some gel medium or even some kind of a varnish and go over them, but you want to be very gentle unless you've got a spray varnish or a spray fixative that you put over it. Okay, so that's a lot of fun, but you can also, you can see my bucket here. So the other thing you can do is dip it and then write with it. And how yummy is that? And I'm doing this up at an angle because I want you to see how it can do drips right away for you too. So, all right, so that's like my favorite right there. Look at that. Let's get some more drips going here. All right, so that's something you can do. Very messy. I usually get my hands totally covered in it, but messy is so much fun too. All right, so that's what it can do. If you love that kind of stuff, then the Lyra water soluble one is for you. And let me tell you real quick which one that is. Okay, maybe it won't be that quick. Tell you what, I'm going to put it on the screen. That way you can know specifically. There's a number for it, and I can't remember specifically which number it was, but it is in my list of art supplies. Okay, fun stuff. So I'm going to set that aside. Let's bring back this and our water, and let's continue. So we left off over here. Let's go to the Neocolor one. So here you can see, even though I was able to rub it a bit, I can see like the water kind of resisting on that. So it doesn't move around. Oops, let's go over here and let's go to Neocolor 2. All right, so I expected this to move around. Let's get another color. Did I use 2 blues here? I didn't realize I did that. I was busy chit-chatting, or maybe that was a softer blue. All right, so we definitely expected that to move around. Paint pens, we already said those were not moving around when I was trying to rub on them. So definitely not moving around when I put water over it. That has thoroughly dried. And let's go to the soft pastels. And we can get even a softer, look at those water droplets in pink now from the red. So adding water, it does move it around a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, here, I'm going to push it up to where we have white. You can see some of that color, but not quite as intense as it is down here. And there's the green. I'll move the green out further. All right, so that does move around a little bit. I just got a droplet over here. All right, let's see what happens here. Yep, we're going to get some movement with the art crayon. We kind of expected that. Well, did we? I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I don't recall what it said on the package, but a little bit of movement, not a ton. And then China marker, I don't expect movement. This is, you know, a little smudge from me pressing on it, but it's definitely resisting. I wonder if I can get you guys to see that resistance. If I go that way, I don't know that you're going to be able to see it, but I can see water is floating all the way around it, but there's none on top of it. All right, so there we have it. We've got the whole, let me bring this up a little bit closer for you guys. We'll go through it again. A lot of different variety in terms of pencils to choose from and crayons. Mark making tools is what I call them all, so that depending on what you like to do, you can choose the type of mark making tool you want to use. I like to have a variety, so some that are water soluble, some that are not, just so there's some variety going on in my paintings as well. Please let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if there are any here that you haven't tried before that you would like to try. And as I mentioned before, if you would like access to my favorite art supply list and you can't find it in the links down below, because I know sometimes it's hard to find those, especially when you're on your cell phone, then just leave me a comment below and I will send you that link. And I am going to have some fun with these new tools that I found. And thank you to the person who told me about it. Can't remember who it was, but I appreciate whenever you guys leave me comments below telling me about tools that you like to use. So if there's something here that you haven't used, I'm sorry, if you have used and that I don't have in this pile, I would love to learn about it. So please share, and you're not just sharing with me, but you're sharing with everybody else, because we're all learning and experimenting, and there's so much stuff out there, but yet there's so much that I've never even heard of, such as these. So share that information down below so that we can all see that and give that a try. Okay, folks, thank you for being here with me today, and I'm wishing you a super fabulous and creative day. Take care.